Hey guys, Coach Ashley here. As you've probably seen, I like to cook, and so definitely in this quarantine I've been cooking even more. And one thing that I've really liked is the Swolverine sweet potato pie clean carbs, and they have a bunch of recipes that I've been trying with these things like cookies, protein shakes, but today I'm going to use it to make some oven fried chicken. If you don't have that, you can just substitute with regular flour, but for me, I'm going to show the recipe made with this. But first, we want to start with chicken breast or chicken drumsticks. I got drumsticks. So we're going to open that up, and I'm actually going to put them in here because it says to let them soak for about 30 minutes. They suggest in oat milk, especially if people are lactose intolerant. Use an oat milk or a nut milk. So I don't have oat milk, but I have almond milk and it's unsweetened. So I'm going to let that soak in there for just a minute. So it just calls for 1 cup of milk. So measure that out. Just gonna pour that over all of it. Probably let it sit in there like that for maybe, well, it says 30 minutes, so I'll do maybe 15 minutes on this side, and then I'll flip them over and do a 15 minutes on the other side so they get evenly soaked on there. If you have thinner chicken or can spread it out into something that it'll cover the whole thing, then you won't have to. I just have 6 drumsticks, but typically the recipe's for about a pound of chicken breast. Also, we're gonna start our oven, especially mine, takes a while to heat up, so we're gonna preheat that to 450 degrees. All right, so while we're letting the oven preheat and these drumsticks soak in the milk, we're gonna actually prepare the breading or the seasoning. So 1 cup cornflakes. You're gonna want to get some sort of blender or food processor that we can put this into. So 1 cup cornflakes. And I do like making a mess when I cook. So there's that. Then 1/3 cup of the sweet potato clean carbs, or if you're not using this, then I would just do 1/3 cup of flour. So that's pretty much the base for the breading, and then you can add seasoning as you like. And I'm actually going to be making a sweet and spicy, but mostly spicy version. So you're gonna want a tablespoon of garlic. I keep mine in a very fancy old Smucker's jar. Then you're gonna want a teaspoon of black pepper. A teaspoon of paprika. So 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Just a dash of salt. I typically don't measure this too much, so put however much you want. If you want it spicy, it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which we do like spicy, so I'm going to put that in there. And then it just calls for a dash of crushed red peppers or chili flakes, so I'm just gonna guesstimate again and put however much I want in there. So I'll just probably pour some in my hand and throw it in when it looks good. There we go. All right, so that's it. Now we just finely crush and mix all the ingredients together. Looks good to me, and this is going to be our dry mixture, and then we will have our eggs that we will whip up in just a minute and do that for the breading. So for the egg mixture that we're gonna make up, it's just 2 eggs. Grab a whisk, or a lot of times for something this simple, I just use a fork. All right, so now that my chicken has been soaking in the milk, and I did flip it about 15 minutes in, we're gonna take these out, and well, I'm gonna move this over. We're gonna take these out. First, I'm gonna have my egg mixture, and then I'm gonna put my dry mixture that I whipped up in the blender into here, and we will dip first in the egg mixture and then into the dry mixture and place onto a baking rack. Put all that in there. It smells really good. If I have one of the silicone things so I don't have to make sure that it won't stick, but if you don't have something like that, just spray your pan, or you can even use a wire rack that you're gonna put in there. So put into the egg mixture first. Then definitely press and roll into that dry mixture. Just want to make sure all sides are covered and it's really stuck in there and gonna get nice and crispy, hopefully. All right, and now we're ready to put it in the oven. Right, so now that we've breaded all those drumsticks, we're gonna stick it in the oven, so at that 450 degrees for about 30 minutes, but we are gonna wanna flip it after about 15 so that it will get crispy on both sides. Right, 15 minutes in, time to flip these over so both sides can get crispy. I think I need to clean my oven too. Looking nice and crispy. Just gotta check and make sure it's reached full temperature of 165 degrees. Beautiful. Tamales, don't burn yourself. Perfect. So I did melt a little honey, add some garlic and a few more red pepper flakes, and I'm gonna drizzle this over the top. And now we're ready to eat. First bite. Delicious, nice and crunchy. Got that little bit of that sweetness from the sweet potato pie stuff too. And it's a little hot. Let it cool first out of the oven. But I'm definitely gonna probably make this again.